Abiding versus emotional cycles. In Luke 17:11 through 19, Jesus is on his way to Jerusalem, moving along the border between Samaria and Galilee. And as he enters a village, 10 men who had leprosy stood at a distance and lifted up their voices, saying, "Jesus, Master, have mercy on us." They are carrying something in their bodies that has already separated them from everything normal. And when he speaks to them, he does not bring them close or explain anything to them. He tells them to go show themselves to the priests. And as they went, they were cleansed. And that means while they were moving in obedience, something in them was changing. All 10 of them received that, and all 10 of them experienced that. But in Luke, we read that one of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back, praising God with a loud voice, and he fell on his face at Jesus' feet, giving him thanks. And he was a Samaritan. And then Jesus responds to the one man. And in Luke it says, "Rise and go your way. Your faith has made you well." Which means there's a difference between something happening in your life and you remaining with the one who is doing it. And that is the line most people never cross. Because what happens for most people is that something in their life changes, and then that moment passes and it no longer feels the same. And they do not know how to live inside that change without the intensity that came with it. Because their whole life was built inside pressure, inside reaction, inside patterns that were already running before they even thought about them. That is what felt normal. And that is what their body knew. Your system was trained to live under pressure. So when that pressure is gone, it does not recognize what is left yet. So when there is space where there used to be pressure, it doesn't feel like peace. It feels unfamiliar. It feels exposed. It feels like something is off, even though nothing is actually wrong. And instead of staying there and letting something new form, they go back to what they know how to live in, looking for something to carry them again. But what Jesus describes is not a life sustained by moments. It is a life sustained by remaining. In John 15:4, Jesus says, "Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you, unless you abide in me." A branch does not produce fruit because something happened to it one time. It produces fruit because it remains connected, and fruit does not show up immediately. It forms and it grows. And it takes time when nothing looks finished and nothing looks complete and nothing feels like a result yet. And that is the part most people walk away from because it doesn't feel like anything is happening. But Scripture is clear about what is happening in that place. In James 1:2-3, it says, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness." In Romans 5:3-4, Paul writes, "Not only that, but we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope." And then in Galatians 5:22-23, it defines what is being formed in that life. "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and the big one, self-control." That fruit is not produced in a moment. It's formed while you remain. It's formed while you continue. It's formed while you follow. And this is where what Jesus said about following him becomes real in a way that most people never stop to think about. In Luke 9:23, Jesus says, "If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me." It is what it feels like when you keep going with him when nothing is carrying you. It is choosing to stay aligned with what he said when there is pressure, when there is resistance, when everything in you wants to go back to what is familiar. It is continuing forward without defending yourself when you could. It is holding your position when it would be easier to step out of it. It is staying focused on what you have been given to do instead of reacting to everything happening around you. It is enduring what is in front of you without letting it pull you out of who you are becoming. Jesus did not come off the cross. He did not defend himself when he was accused. He didn't turn his attention inward when he was suffering. And he remained. And that is what this looks like. That is where abiding and following meet. Not in a moment. In the decision to remain when it would be easier to leave. I'm Brandon, and this is your Momentum Moment.